Two choices. Okay. Now hit the music.
I don't see the music.
I got it.
Where is it?
I got it.
Call the names. Wake the room. Wake the room. Hello, you! Rex! Pam, Naomi! Fastiana! Babbler! Monarch Soul! Jojo! Gray eyes! Fill my eyes! Poets assemble. No masks, no manners. Say it plain or say it broken. Monday night in the garden of enlightenment. Low light lit minds, every line got intent. Clock ticks crooked and the room turns vigilant. Quiet so loud you can hear what the tension meant. Then it slips after midnight, manners get murdered. Nice little masks get cracked by a word or a murmur. Twisted Tuesdays twist truth till it turns on its heel. Clean cut faces go strange when the dark gets real. You can feel that shift, that slick little slip when the grin stays sweet, but the eyes don't sit. Like the room grew ribs, like the walls grew ears, like the hush got hands and it's pulling you near. And the words don't rest, they press, put a heel on the chest, leave a dent in the breath. Every line like a knock from the back of the brain, like you came in one shape. You won't leave the same. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft door dim. Hear the whole thing shift from a whisper in the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets. Wednesday breaks parts and apart, sink down the spine, half halo, half hazard, both hands in the light. Then the art of seduction walks off through the smoke. Silk on the tongue with the blade in the joke books and bards, wakes dust in the depth of the shelves. Old ghosts lean up and start naming themselves in our coffins, selling art. The ache gets a voice, pain stands up straight and makes silence a choice. Then break on through when the dead boogies way, when the masses sink but the pulses pray. Echoes in the dark go hunting in the fear, that thing with no name starts ringing in your ear. Say it. Tongue water it down, let it bite, let it bloom, let it burn through the crowd. Back company grins like a bruise, dressed smart in rhythm and rhyme, puts a boot through the heart. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft door dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whisper in the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, some come shattered, some come slick, some speak honey with a blade in it. Some sound velvet, some sound wire, some walk in low and take the room higher. Some come holy, some come liars. That's the thing, this ain't feeling for the dead space, no. This is pulse with a pen, this is blood with the net go. This is breath with a backbone, ink with a crown, loud mics like nerves, truth laid bare in the round. This is the beautiful mess, the bruise and the bloom, the line that cuts clean and makes a little room. Late souls, wide eyes, all nerve in the dark something more. Late night poets. When the clock slips past polite, we tell the truth. L&P, we love you. Stay frosty.
Hello, my freaky darlings, and welcome to Late Night Poets After Midnight Show, where you get to take a walk on the wild side. If you're into likes of Ginsberg, Bukowski, Ferlinghetti, Kerouac, and Morrison, then you are on the right night. But don't forget, sit in with Aphasia and Babbitt tomorrow as they teach you the fine art, becoming part sinner, part saint. And every other Friday, join Pam for Echoes in the Dark. These shows were designed to color outside the lines with rich, raw emotions, tinged with colloquial language, thereby pushing the envelope to expression and opening up new avenues of thought through pen and voice. So pull up a chair, relax, and open your minds. I'm Rex, my co-host Pam Ray, and I can't wait to get into and read your words. Morning, evening, afternoon, Pam.
And all that good stuff to you too, Rex. How's it going?
All righty, what's up?
Oh, not much. We had a nice, cool day today. I went for a walk, did some reading and commenting on poetry. Yeah, life is good. Looking forward to hanging out with you and other cool poets. Delving into some Jim Morrison inspired poetry. Why don't you tell us a bit about tonight's show?
Oh, I dipped into Jim's Paris journals and picked some lines out of that a very long piece, which we'll read soon enough. But it's kind of his musings on his walk around Paris, what he sees and how he views it, and then writes it all down for future reference. Although we got that future reference, he didn't get to actually print it. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually listened to a poetry reading session done by Jim Morrison earlier today, as well as read through that and, listened to a video about his time spent in Paris, his last few days. So, yeah, that's
There's a lot of questions still open about that, along with a whole lot of other people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. All right. All right. Yeah, it does make one wonder what was going on in his life, and especially those last few days. Are you still there, Rex?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. It just sounded like you were saying something, but I couldn't quite make out what.
Nope.
All
Just listening
right.
to you.
What's that?
I was listening to you.
Aha. Well, I appreciate that. Very, very attentive. All right. So, I have put up the Jim Morrison poem, Paris Journal. And go ahead, please, Rex, and give that a read for us.
Paris Journal, James Douglas Morrison. So much forgotten already. So much forgotten. So much to forget. Once the idea of purity born, all was lost irrevocably. The black musician in the house up the hill, nigger in the woodpile, skeleton in the closet. Sorry, didn't mean you. An old man, someone's daughter, arises and sees us still in the room of off-key piano and bad paintings. him off to work, and new wife arriving. The candle forests of Notre Dame, beggar nuns with moving smiles, small velvet sacks and cataleptic eyes, straying to the gaudy mosaic calendar windows. I write like this to seize you. Give me your love, your tired eyes, sad for delivery. A small and undiscovered park we ramble, and the poster screams safe revolt, and the tired walls barely fall, graffiti into dry cement sand, an overfed vacuum, dust clock. I remember freeways, summer beside you, ocean brother, storms passing, electric fires in the night, rain, night, misery, the back ends of wagons. Shake it, Wanda, fat, stranded swamp woman. We still need you. Shake your roly-poly thighs inside that southern tent. So what? It was really wild. She started nude and put on her clothes. An old and cheap hotel with bums in the lobby. Genteel bums of satisfied poverty. Across the street, a famous pool hall where the actors meet. Former ace home of beat musicians, beat poets, and beat wanderers. In the Zen tradition from China to the subway in 4 easy lifetimes. Weeping, he left his pad on orders from police and furnishings hauled away, all records and mementos, and reporters calculating tears and curses for the press. I hope the Chinese junkies get you, and they will, for the poppy rules the world. That handsome, gentle flower, sweet Billy. Do you remember the snake, your lover? Tender in the tumbled brushweed sand and cactus? I do, and I remember stars in the shotgun night. Eating pussy till the mind runs clean. Is it rolling God in the Persian night? There's a palace in the canyon where you and I were born. Now I'm a lonely man. Let me back into the garden. Blue shadows of the canyon, I met you, and now you're gone. And now my dream is gone. Let me back into your garden. A man searching for lost paradise can seem a fool to those who never sought the other world, where friends do lie and drift insanely in their own private gardens. The cunt bloomed and the paper walls trembled. A monster arrived in the mirror to mock the room and its fool alone. Give me songs to sing and emerald dreams to dream, and I'll give you love unfolding. Sun. Underwater, it was immediately strange and familiar. The black boys from the boat, fins and mask, nostrils bled liquid, crystal blood as they rose to surface, rose and moved strong in their wet world. Below was a kingdom, empire of still sand, and yes, party-colored fishes. They are the last to leave the gay sea. I eat you, avoiding your wordy bones, and spit out pearls. The little girl gave little cries of surprise as the club struck her sides. I was there by the fire in the phone booth. I saw them charge and heard the Indian war scream, felt the adrenaline of flight fear, the exhilaration of terror sloshed drunk in the flashy battle blood. Naked we come, and bruised we go, nude pastry for the slow, soft worms below. This is my poem for you, great flowing, funky flowered beast, great perfumed wreck of hell, great good disease and summer plague, great goddamn shit ass motherfucking freak. You lie, you cheat, you steal, you kill, you drink the southern madness swill of greed, you die utterly and alone. Mud up to your braces, someone new in your knickers, and who would that be? You know. You know more than you let on, much more than you betray. Great slimy angel whore, you've been good to me. You really have been swell to me. Tell them you came and saw and looked into my eyes and saw the shadow of the guard receding, thoughts in time and out of season. The hitchhiker stood by the side of the road and leveled his thumb in the calm calculus of reason. And poem.
Ah, great read there, Rex. Always double the pleasure to hear Jim Morrison's poetry in your voice. Oh my goodness gracious. This, I've never actually had read this poem before. I'm really glad, and I understand that this isn't the whole poem, is it? Like there is actually more to it.
Well, he had a bunch of journals. This was like I think it was 3 pages long in the journal itself.
Okay,
But there's more.
okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read this before, and so I'm really glad that you put it up as a prompt. I really like the way that Jim Morrison combines the visceral with the physical, or the visceral and physical with the spiritual. I like how he takes an look at both the ugliness and the beauty of humanity. Um, and I thought there was great lines throughout, but I especially like where it says, "Shake it, Wanda, fat stranded swamp woman. We still need you. Shake your roly poly thighs inside that southern tent. So what? It was really wild. She started nude and put on her clothes." And other great lines were, "Do you remember the snake, your lover, tender in the tumbled bush, brush, weed, sand, and cactus? I do. And I remember stars in the shotgun night." This takes a look at a sexual energy of a society, of a city that's plagued with a sense of loneliness and wilderness at the same time. So excellent, of course, right by Jim Morrison, and very well done.
Nice. He'd come a long way from his beginnings. He's kind of started in a little place in California, not far outside LA, where he lived for a time. A place called Laurel Canyon. At the top of that canyon was this huge concrete edifice surrounded with I think 10-foot chain link fence topped with barbed wire, um, spotlights, armed guards, a helicopter pad, a huge production studio inside with sound stages, um, uh, equipment in the basements to um, produce the films, plus technicians, chemists. Um, it was a place that made movies, mostly propaganda. In fact, some said the 22 years that place was open, they put out some 6,500 films, the likes of uh, Marilyn Monroe, Jimmy Stewart, Ronald Reagan, and others were up in that place making movies. And to this day, everything that place did is classified. Even Walt Disney provided his expertise in there. They had all manner of people, including cartoonists, animators. So nobody's got a really good general idea of what they produced outside of the films. Let's see, what was it? Um, the Atomic Blast films. That idea of showing the public what the government is doing and checking out atomic blasts and seeing how it works around the arena and the world as far as fallout and everything else. But it seems to be there was a lot more going on since um, the CIA back in the day was also this place kind of, I think, opened up right around the same time that the CIA came into existence in 1947. And the funny thing is, this area, Laurel Canyon, only had about 200 or 300 people living on this little canyon. It was a meandering scrubland with houses and sharp turns and roads. And back in the day, that was 1965, only had a couple hundred people. Then all of a sudden, there was a huge influx of people who would change the world in just 2 short, sweet years. Jim Morrison lived there. Frank Zappa, David Crosby, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash, Mama Cass, John Phillips, Roger McGuinn, Joni Mitchell, Jackson Brown, Peter Tork was also up there. Mickey, Mickey, what's his name from the Monkees, also up there. Michael Nesmith, Jack Nicholson was part of that crowd. Peter Fonda, and Dennis Hopper, and all of these people came in there. Well, the musicians at first, they were the first ones moved in, and it was a conglomeration of all of them. Most of them had never written a song. They weren't really adept musically at that point in time. Ray Manzarek was also up there, as well as Robbie Krieger, and big part of what came out early was due to this session group called the Wrecking Crew, who played on just about everything. Glenn Campbell was part of it until his career took off in the 70s. There was a drummer, I think his name was Hale. He once said from his days with the Wrecking Crew from 1957 until 1972, he had played on some 35,000 songs. They were that prolific as far as, and they never had any of their names appear on any of the albums that were produced. They were just part of the mix, promotion, so to speak. And the funny thing is, all of these people, they all had something else in common outside of being famous just 2 short years after their introduction into Laurel Canyon in '65. They all hang out. It was just a small community, so they were all within walking distance of each other. Um, they all had also. They came from military industrial complex, and from intelligence backgrounds. Jim's father was an admiral, George Stephen Morrison. He was the one that ran that false flag in Gulf of Tonkin in '64, which got us heavily into Vietnam War. Ray Manzarek was an Army intelligence engineer. Robbie Krieger, his father was part of the military-industrial complex. Frank Zappa, his father he lived around military installations most of his youth. His father was a chemical warfare um, technician and chemist. David Crosby, his father was big in the Hollywood scene. He was a cinematographer with a Academy Award. Stephen Stills, he spent most of his youth in Central America on military bases with all the action that was going on back in the '50s and '60s. John Phillips, his dad was a Marine officer and went to the Naval Academy. Mama Cass, she and Phillips went to George Washington High, and so did Jim Morrison. George Washington High in D.C., right in the underflow of the Pentagon. Who else we got there? Jackson Brown was also part of this community. He was born on a military base in Heidelberg. His father was part of the OSS back in the day. Joni Mitchell, she lived most of her life on military bases. Bernie Ledden from the Eagles, his father was an aerospace physicist and a guidance systems manager for the military industrial complex. And it keeps going on and on. You've got Joe Walsh, Gold Star son. Peter Tork, he was raised on military bases. His father was an officer in Germany during the Cold War. Pam Corson, Jim's girlfriend, was the daughter of a very heavily decorated airline pilot, wartime pilot for the Air Force. Anyway, from there, from that short note, and all of them, they moved into that arena in the early months of 1965. Just a big, huge swath of them from all over the country, all over the world, just happened to move into this one place all at once. And from there, everything seemed to explode outwards. They helped create the um, the flower power, the psychedelic era that got birthed in 1967, and they were also part of the at least pop. Um, uh, John Phillips, he organized the Monterey Pop Festival, chose the people who were going to play there. Mama Cass actually got a hold of. There was a guy named Augustus Owsley Franklin II, whose father was also a DC lawyer and a senator from Kentucky. He was the chemist for the for LSD back in the day, which also started in 1965, not far from Laurel Canyon. Um, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones, and a ton of more people who died young all ran through Laurel Canyon as part of that very scene. Like I said, Nicholson, Fonda, and um, and Dennis Hopper were also part of that scene. And I believe what's her name? Abigail Folger had a house in Laurel Canyon. She was one of the victims of the Manson Tate, well, the Tate LaBianca murders in 1969. And also in 67, uh, Charlie Manson got out of Terminal Island and he immediately, almost immediately in 1968, he entered the scenery not far off of Laurel Canyon in Topanga Canyon, where Dennis Wilson had his house. Dennis in '68 had picked up two girls hitchhiking, which were Krenwinkel and another girl, and took them back to his place. And Charlie Manson showed up. He declared himself a wizard. He did some recording at Gold, I think it's Gold Star Studios, which Dennis Wilson took him to. They recorded three songs, said we're going to do some good stuff here. And one of the songs Dennis Wilson actually took, retitled it, reworked it a little bit, and put it out as a Beach Boys song. Um, that studio, Gold Star, was where the Beach Boys recorded most of their work, which is also the home of Phil Spector, who put out that wall of sound technique for the Beach Boys. And what else we got? Oh, Mama Cass, 1967. That she was the one who ordered up from Owsley, who by that time they had all moved up the scene to San Francisco, and they got started with Monterey Pop Festival in '67, and she got Owsley to produce the first batch of what they called Monterey Purple. 14,000 doses she delivered to the audience and and the band members across the stage. And there was also a cinematographer there who had the best equipment in the day to actually film the entire production, which they then created the movie for it, the Monterey Pop Festival, which got sat in the theaters and introduced the world and America to 1967, the Summer Love, Flower Power, and everything else. The lingo, the looks, the clothes, you name it. It all seemed to have come out in a huge, massive production. Why? Well, for the most part, 1964, 65, the CIA and FBI's COINTELPRO were afraid of the birth of what was going on, the civil rights movement plus the anti-war. Everybody was kind of on the same side at that very moment in time, and they were afraid that if they didn't do anything to break that up, then it would actually congeal into something that they couldn't stop. So the birth of things to come. Not to mention, funny thing is, when Charlie Manson got let out of jail, he was ordered that he had to report weekly to the hate Ashbury Free Clinic, which was where the CIA was running their MK Ultra um, acid tests, giving out large doses of acid. Plus, Charlie's family also went to that very same clinic. And it just seems a whole lot that that era was a big production. And Charlie should have gone right back to Terminal Island at least a dozen times because he got picked up for, you name it, he got picked up for it, including rape of a 14-year-old runaway. And every one of his charges were thrown out or ruled down to something smaller. And he shouldn't have been on the streets at all. So it kind of looks like that. Yes, you want shit to unfold, but how do you do it? Well, you do it by production.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say, Rex, you are filled with a plethora of information. You are truly a font of wisdom. You know, it's fascinating to me how so many people, both good and bad influences within Jim Morrison's life, became that spark of his creative spirit and the message that he had to say about humanity. So, very cool information there, Rex. Thank
Well, it's
you.
not to say that they were actually involved in it, but it does beg the notice that you've got this very small arena, and every one of them is all involved in the very same thing. None of them were trained musicians. None of them had written a song or played any music or were even very good at the beginning. Yes, they all became
So
huge.
they were involved. I mean, maybe not in a deep way, or, maybe not in the way that you're translating what I mean by involved. But they were involved in the fact that they were having a similar experience at a similar time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting. Very interesting. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get our next poem up. And then let me get it up in Late Night Poets. All right. And we have 120 Octane by Captain Kerr. And we do have an audio for that.
Shell skittering on the asphalt, a metallic taste forming in my mouth. Leather rivers me to the front seat, the wheel shaking between my palms. Stiletto heel trees raging past in the white teeth, silver mist. Mercury is rising, pounding through my veins. My injector surge, cold black burning rains, a lightning smile searing through my lips. Spent shells lying in the wasteland of a kiss. The hammer falls, a muzzle flash, her eyes sharp as polished brass. In the pit stop hollows of my love, new moon's fevered past. rubber peeling on midnight horizon. Scotch rubber peeling on midnight horizon. Mercury is rising, pounding through my veins. My injectors surge, cold black burning rains, a lightning smile searing through my lips. Spent shells lying in the wasteland of a kiss. No need to break, muzzle flash, racing toward a cold chrome sun. No need to break, white flame kiss, cold chrome sun. College breath, hammer falls.
Nicely done, Captain Kerr. Thank you for SoundCloud. Very much appreciated. All right, Pam, what do you think of 120 Octane?
That is a great title. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that Captain Kerr was inspired. This is strong lyrics, great take on the two chosen prompts, which was prompts 5 and 11. The night is a steel machine grinding its slow stained wheels, and I remember stars in the shotgun night. Um, I really think this is just, to me, an amazing write that speaks on traveling the highway of life and love, living on the edge at breakneck speeds, and finding the high within the wastelands. This is somebody who wants that constant high of being in danger, of putting themselves in danger and putting others in danger. And great lines throughout. But I have to say, I especially like she's 120 octane, salt flats strafing my rear view mirror, scorched rubber peeling on midnight's horizon, scorched rubber peeling on midnight's horizon. Mercury is rising, pounding through my veins. My injectors surge, coal black burning rains, a lightning smile searing through my lips, spent shells lining the wasteland of her kiss. This actually kind of makes me think of the movie Natural Born Killers, and the like how insane they were, and both those that actor, Woody Harrelson, and the girl who played the woman's part. Oh my gosh, they were so fabulous in that movie. But it has that kind of, like a modern day Bonnie and Clyde type feel to it. So excellent write and very well done.
Nice, thank you, Pam. Funny thing is, I can see this as an early Van Halen tune with David Lee Roth digging hard into these lyrics, because those early days, they were all about the how they put up the little the sexiness in their songs. This she hits on this voluptuous as a spent shell. Was her eyes sharp as polished brass, and the pit stop hollows of my love on new moon's fevered past. What else we got? No need to break, muzzle flash, racing toward a cold chrome sun. Searing lips, no need to break, wasteland kiss, cold chrome sun, polished brass, hammer falls, stop. It's got a little playful attitude into it as well, because it's talking about this woman who's referring to as 120 octane, dangerous, something that'll run you dry, pour out the gasoline on the stage, and set you on fire. So nicely done, Cap. And I do like that Ferrari. Nice.
Absolutely. Definitely a pleasure for sure. And great comment there, Rex. All right. I think first I will put the poem in Late Night Poets, and then I will add it in StreamYard so it goes out. And all right, we have Blind Prejudice by Monty G. And I will go ahead and give that a read. A flower blooms in all its glory, unashamed of the color of its skin, nor the shape of its birthed blossom. It resides in a vista ignorant of prejudice, where brothers and sisters sit proudly together. It is only man that squanders its inherent beauty, merely to satiate a mind ignorant of acceptance, blind of the enrichment gifted in nature's diversity. Disdain suppresses where gratitude should prevail, and intellectual stubbornness slays humanity, and naked stupidity supersedes kindness. Wars of unfounded fear are acclaimed. The flowers die to the sounds of ridicule. Nature's lessons are ignored. Harmony's future wanes, wallowing in prickled cacti. End poem.
Great read, Pam. And Monty took the quote, let's see, tender in the tumbled bushweed, sand, and cactus. Bites on that idea of easy note right up front. A flower blooms in all its glory, unashamed of the color of its skin, nor the shape of its birth blossom. It resides in a vista ignorant of prejudice. Yes, everything comes with that note of there's no preconceived notions, but then it gets taught, or the child learns prejudice basically by what happens within that life. Let me hit some of the blind of the enrichment gifted in nature's diversity. Also, it bites at the idea of not just society, but nature itself, how everything revolves around what nature is as it is. Everything is supposed to fit together because in nature, there is nothing that is not supposed to be there already, so to speak. Uh, Here you go. Naked stupidity supersedes kindness. Wars of unfounded fear are acclaimed. The flowers die to the sounds of ridicule. Nature's lessons are ignored. Harmony's future wanes, wallowing in prickle cacti. I like that finishing note using that part of the quote. Um, yes, he's got that head up top with bias on the one side, which is heavily weighed down to facts, 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 and more facts on the other side, which don't get paid much attention to. Why? Because bias always seems to hold a heavier thought, a heavier note, and a heavier weight than actual facts. When you speak facts, people don't want to hear you. They don't like it. Why? Because it runs in ignorance, and they'd rather stay on the end of ignorance than actually delve into facts, and which would prove themselves to be ooh, walking that note of prejudicial behavior, which they don't want to admit either. So nicely done, Monty. All right. What about you? Since you
Great comment there, Rex. Yeah, I really thought this one had strong lines, a great consistency in tone. I like how he uses the beauty of the flower and cactus to represent the idea that people form their opinions of other people based on what's on the surface, like looking at the prickles, the stingers, whatever you call it, needles. Sorry, the needles on the cactus. Looking at that, and the not looking at the time when the cactus opens up its blooms and shows its beauty. And in this way, it represents to me the idea that people judge on the surface, They see what a person, like they look at skin color, they look at how a person's dressed, and in their ignorance, they judge a person by that. Um, and I think there's strong lines throughout, but I especially like it is only man that squanders its inherent beauty merely to satiate a mind ignorant of acceptance, blind of the enrichment gifted in nature's diversity. So I like that he uses nature as a metaphor for humanity, and our shortcomings. So just excellent, right? And very well done.
Nice.
All
What
right.
we're going to go to next.
What's that, Rex?
So what we're going to do next.
That is a very good question. We are going to do 100 poems by Guilty. And go ahead, please, Rex, and give that a read.
100 Poems by Guilty. Lucid thought, a curse, pox on the soul. Pimple dots, a line, jackal smile, heal. Down misery's spinning wheel, sister. Pasty dough, we grind to flat limped nodes. Chocolate drizzle on a vanilla float melts her mouth. She waddles in her largesse, white moon cracks, and the wolf bellows and licks his chops. The cop jacks his ass umptions. 5 shots below. Rebirth. A cry, a tear, make up sex, a rear. Mother, they are huge. Feed me. Snake slithers, a rump, healthy bump, white wine, intake blood divine. Oh, the abuse, naked stages, burning sage, ward of demons' flesh. If I die, circumspect with a smile and erect, my virgin whores await my blackened death. End poem. And Guilty took prompts 2 and 3, which were Shake It Wanda, Fat Stranded Swamp Woman, and I Eat You, Avoiding Your Wordy Bones, and Spit Out Pearls. All right, Pam.
Yeah, I can definitely see a Wanda in this poem. That's for sure. Great read there, Rex. I tell you, this one is so effing awesome. I mean, seriously, I really enjoyed and appreciated how it felt like he just lassoed and dragged the spirit of Jim Morrison into his own realm of wordplay, imagery, and metaphors. This is definitely a strong right, and it speaks to me. Part of what it speaks to me on is the ugliness of rewards received. Like when we get our due rewards, and it turns out it's just such a horrifying and ugly experience. I think 100 Poems was a perfect title for this, seeing as that each stanza was a poem within itself. And I thought there were great lines throughout, but I especially like, and the wolf bellows and licks his chops, the cop jacks his ass assumptions, 5 shots below, rebirth, a cry, a tear, makeup sex, a rear, mother, they are huge, feed me, snake slithers, a rump, healthy bump, white wine, intake blood divine. Oh my gosh, this is all the abuse, the betrayal, the horrors that life and love have to offer up in the cruel streets. So excellent right by Guilty, and very well done.
Yep, guilty bit to this part. I like that finishing note. Well, it's better the last two. If I die, circumspect with a smile and direct, my virgin whores await my blackened death. Nice touch on the finish there. He alludes to quite a few things, but still walks on that note of his blackened death, his virgin horse, so to speak. I got that little note to Wanda in here. She waddles in her largesse, white moon cracks. Nice. Well, yeah, there's a vision in and of itself. and and the wolf bellows and licks his chops. The cop jacks his assumptions. 5 shots below, rebirth. Ooh. And another play on a cry, a tear, make up sex, a rear. Mother, they are huge. Feed me. And then that rump, healthy bump, white wine intake, blood divine. Ooh. Playing with quite a bit. The Guilty did a great job with that. Thank you. All right.
Oh, I didn't realize I was off mute, and here I was chugging my big icy drink. Sorry about that. All right. So, oh, it says, Rex, can you refresh? Thank you. All right. And while he's refreshing, I will go ahead and grab the next poem. All right. What did I do here? Try this again. All right. Oh, look at that. Okay, sorry about that. Just hitting some wrong buttons here on my Kindle Fire. And why am I echoing? Criminy. Oh. All right. Let's bring Rex back on. Oh, he's back on. Okay, never mind. Hey, Rex.
Yes, I'm here, and you're echoing because it's not me.
Oh.
That's better.
Okay. I don't know why I was echoing. That is.
And you were thrumming too.
I mean, I knew I had 2 of me up, but one of them was on my Kindle Fire and I had been muted, so you shouldn't have been able to hear the echo. Like on my Kindle Fire, I was muted, or, you know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the next right. All right, we have Don't Say Things You Don't Mean by Julie Buck. And it goes like this. You're such a prick for leading me on. You promised me music and song. We made vows that we grow old together and live in dreams green. Don't say things you don't mean, you douchebag liar. I wanted you to give me words to sing. I never wanted nor got a diamond fucking ring. We were to reside in a harmonious home, organized and clean. Remember those emerald dreams? Well, shove 'em where the sun don't shine. Know what I friggin' mean? End poem.
Great read, Pam. Thank you very much. And Julie went with "Give me songs to sing and emerald dreams to dream." I like the fact that she rolled that quote on uh, a bit of old parchment as a picture. Looks really nice. I like that. And well, she comes out swinging. "You're such a prick for leading me on. You promised me music and song. Oof. We made vows that we'd grow old together, live in dreams green. Ow. Uh, well, yeah, sometimes shit happens. This kind of hits on that note of youthful vigorance in the moment, especially that note of vows, grow old, live in dreams green. And turns out, ends up douchebag liar. And I do like the finish. Well, shove 'em where the sun don't shine. Know what I friggin' mean? Well, that's usually the end deal when things go really sour because they weren't supposed to be in the first place. But you don't get there without actually uh, sometimes learning the hard way that things are never as easy and promissory as you think. Oof. What do you think? Are you there, Pam?
I am here, but I have to get push two or more buttons to get back. So, just give me a few extra seconds because if I'm typing in private chat, I can't unmute right away. But yeah, I thought this was a great write by Julie. Really, I like hell yes. This has strong, hard-hitting lines, an excellent write that's written in the voice of a woman who has had enough of bullshit and empty promises. Um, I will say, I don't know. I feel like because she said in the lines, "I never wanted nor got a diamond fucking ring," that she could have just used the word fucking instead of frigging in that last line. But still, it works. It works. But, I just figure why hold back on the one if you've already let loose with the other. Also those lines about the diamond ring, I wanted you to give me words to sing. I never wanted nor got a diamond effing ring. I feel like there's almost a bitterness to that. Like it's interesting to add in "I never wanted" and then remind somebody that they never gave it to you. Like if it was something you truly never wanted, why does this woman feel the need to bring it up? This definitely has strong lines and a nice flow to it. And I like how the first lines and really the whole poem speaks on what it's like to have promises broken, to be led on, to think that you are in a relationship that is going to be loving and stable forever. And it turns out not to be that way. So, excellent write by Julie Buck and very well done.
Nice. All right. Where do we go now?
Where do we go now? Where do we go now? That is a very good question, Rex. All right. So there we go to Late Night Poets. And here we go to StreamYard. All right. And we have "It Is What It Is" by Hats. And go ahead, please, Rex, and give that a read.
It Is What It Is by Hats. For centuries, in monastery shelters, Mother Church raised the children for the glory of God, less for life, fed with thick prayers and thin, low-calorie soups. Hands folding, kneeling. Man is a spirit, the word of God, caloric nourishment. When the body is sick, the priest gives the last rites. They depart for eternity like doves from the Bible, and sisters in the habits in virgin sopranos sing at funeral masses. Mendicants on the sidewalks in silent prayers gaze fixed through you, somewhere you wish to get, a place you don't comprehend. Still you learn, but your pockets full of banknotes, your abdomen with full stomach, your lifestyle is a burden. So you mock, spit salivas, point fingers. End poem. And hats took beggar nuns with moving smiles, small velvet sacks, and cataleptic eyes. All right, yeah.
Yeah, Hats is funny. She says in the chat that we have to be octopuses to be able to push all these buttons. Great read there, Rex. This is just an amazing rights by Hats. Great take on the chosen prompt. Amazing imagery and metaphors. I like how this speaks. Well, the first stanza to me speaks on how at first church was hiding away from society, and there was no spiritual nourishment in that. And then the realization that when the body is sick, we need to take care of those in need, those who are suffering. That is where our spirituality comes from. And that part, man is a spirit, the word of God, caloric nourishment. When the body is sick, the priest gives the last rites. They depart for eternity like doves from the Bible, and sisters in the habits and virgin sopranos sing at funeral masses. That speaks to me all about going through the customs of religion. And this poem actually brings Mother Teresa to mind. I mean, it's a great take on the prompt, and it has a Jim Morrison style, and it's physicality and spirituality offered up. But it makes me think of the idea of how we need to do more than just hide away from the suffering. We need to be a part of it. We need to be out there. And there people who claim to be a representation of God, who simply, as she says in her end line, so you mock, spit, salivas, point fingers. People who pretend to represent the heart of God, the heart of Christ, are doing nothing more but mocking and pointing fingers at those who are suffering, while with their gluttony, they fill their bellies, they fill their bank accounts, and just don't give a damn about anyone but themselves. This is an amazing write by Hats, and very well done.
Oh, thank you, Pam. I'm going to go with two things. That note and that last large stanza bites at the idea of money being the root of all evil. And the rest kind of walks on that note of just how far from the early days of the thought of God and self has come since the beginning, how far we've fallen down that ladder of walking away from spirituality, and how it affects, because it finishes off, so you mock, spit salivas, point fingers, that idea of ridicule the sanctity of the church, the original teachings, and how far both some have taken that, and how far we have gotten away from the actual note of thoughtful prayer, or uh, being one in it and attuned with the thought of God itself. So did well with the prompt. That thought with the beggar nuns and moving smile, small velvet sex, and cataleptic eyes, and it's on that the word of God, caloric nourishment. So that says quite a bit in and of itself. And I think that, yes, you talk about the early days, fed with thick prayers and thin, low-calorie soups. So you got away from the ease of who and what we are to the fact that pockets full of banknotes, add one full with full stomach. Your lifestyle is the burden. Yes, we've forgotten who and what we were originally, spiritually. Nicely done, Hats. All right, back to you.
All right. Um, hmm. I'm being asked if I can refresh. You can't refresh on your phone, can you, Rex? You have to drop and come back?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this doesn't hold a refresh mode.
the what?
It doesn't hold the refresh mode. You actually leave as a refresh.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I guess I have to remove myself from the stage and then come back.
Well, maybe your Kindle and your phone are too close together. Maybe that might be the interaction you're getting.
That won't make, you know what? I honestly don't believe that would make a difference. And they have to be close together because talking on, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound grumpy. I apologize if I do, but I'm on mute on my Kindle Fire. I'm not using it for talking, and they have to be close together because my phone is for talking and my Kindle Fire is for reading and posting links. There's just no way for me to have them far apart. But
Okay.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to put up the next poem. Sorry to do this for you, Rex, but I'm going to go grab the next poem for you to for you to read and comment on first. And I'm going to try I am going to try to drop and come back and see if that will make a difference. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So let me go grab that link and put it in Late Night Poets. And then I will put it again in StreamYard. And I have put up Bryce Canyon in the Late Afternoon by Oak Blue 34. And go ahead, please, Rex.
Bryce Canyon in the Late Afternoon by Oak Blue 34. I frame the jagged edge where light retreats, blue shadows of the canyon bleeding into stone. You stood there, a sharp focal point, steady as a tripod against the shifting dust. Then the sun dipped low, a heavy gold coin, and the aperture of the world began to close. I developed the memory in the darkroom of my mind, but you vanished like a lens flare in a midday storm. I met you, and now you're gone, leaving only the grainy silence of a frame, waiting for a subject that will not return. End poem. And Oak went with Blue Shadows of the Canyon. I met you, and now you're gone. This kind of walks on that note of, as he does hit on, what was it? Blue shadows in the canyon are a natural phenomenon typically seen during early morning or late afternoon, especially on clear sunny days. These shadows appear blue because they are filled with ambient scattered blue light from the sky, while the sunlit areas remain bright orange or yellow. Nice. Thank you for that information. So you've got, I have to find out where Bryce Canyon is. So it does walk on that note of a particular fondness for the area and the way it presents itself. I like that, and especially that The sun dipped low, a heavy gold coin, and the aperture of the world began to close. I like that note. Kind of both walks into the idea of the camera itself, but also using the eye as the visual camera for ourselves in the moment too. And then it's on. I developed a memory in the dark room of my mind, but you vanished like a lens flare in a midday storm. Again, oof. I do like the bite of that, using the thought of the camera, the lens, focal point, sharpness, how everything shifts within the moment based on where you stand and how you choose to set the picture within your mind. And you get the same, or the camera itself, but you get the same thing viewing it just visually without the thought of the camera. But intertwining them together as one offers up a great thought. I like that idea. And then that finish, that note of right to the quote itself. I met you, and now you're gone, leaving only the grainy silence of a frame, waiting for a subject that will not return. Oof. The close of the evening at that point. It's like watching it all, watching uh, that note of the Blue Canyon as the sun sets, and then it's the finish of the evening. This kind of a note of enjoyment and also a note of sadness because now it's gone. I don't have that picture to view, that beauty to set my sights upon and enjoy that thrilling moment in time. Nice. Well done. Oh, that was cool. I like that. Pam, you back? Or is I still here?
I'm not really sure if I can. I don't think I can leave. Am I still echoing?
No, but I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Aha. Okay. And I'm not echoing.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Because I wasn't able to actually refresh. The only thing I could have done is remove myself from the stage. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this is a wonderful brevity by Oak Blue 34. I learned something new. I did not realize that the blue shadows in a canyon are an actual natural phenomenon. And so it was really interesting to learn something new and to think that it was probably something that Jim Morrison actually experienced. I have been to the Grand Canyon, and this was years ago when I was 16. And I will say I didn't go down inside it, so and maybe it wasn't the right time of day because I don't remember the blue shadows, but I do remember the beautiful layers of the stones, and thinking how much history is built up in there. I also remember that two of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen was at the Grand Canyon and at the Pacific Ocean in California. This has such wonderful imagery. I like how it speaks on those fleeting moments and capturing them with the camera. The idea of that just right moment. And I actually have a lot of beautiful pictures of the Grand Canyon, and this was back when you had those cardboard cameras that you could just buy at a store. And I can't even imagine the kind of amazing pictures you could take with something that you could make just the right adjustments for light and shadows and all that. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful write by Oak Blue 34. I have to say, I especially liked that second stanza. The sun dipped low, a heavy gold coin, and the aperture of the world began to close. I developed the memory in the darkroom of my mind, but you vanished like a lens flare in a midday storm. Wonderful use of photography elements as metaphors, and very well done.
Nice. Thank you, Pam.
Right. And let's see what we have next. So, all right, I guess I will be reading the next one since I made you read twice in a row. And all right, we have Painted Hills Above Me by Blue Leader One. And it goes like this. Painted hills above me, catching the last of the light. A smell both subtle and certain, the rich foundation of life. Cat's eye, gem, and fire opal, both contained and dead, alive only in our souls, still dangerous, feeds and lifts us, chase our feelings free, both whispers and screams, riding along our skin to whip our hair, begins and ends in motion, falls on our heads, signals our emotions, creates rivers on our face. The tune from a way carried by a secret wind, soft and sharp. I should say gentle and defined. A ghost taps you on the shoulder. You turn and see nothing, but you know what you felt, and that you will never say. For what is spirit? Who can know? End poem.
Great read, Pam. Thank you very much. This walks along that same note of Oaks, and it's fitting that they kind of go back to back. I like that idea of that second stanza, the thought of a cat's eye gem and fire opal, both containing dead, alive only in our souls, still dangerous. At least that night of that thought of color. Uh, and the fact that this kind of walks that note of, especially with that painted hills above me, catching the last light of the light, a smell both subtle and certain, the rich foundation of life. There's a deep memory there, and it walks in that idea of going to a place where both spent some time and enjoyed the moments that were spent there, and that back end finishes with the idea of the ghost tapping on the shoulder. You turn and see nothing, but you know what you felt, and that you will never say for what is spirit. Who can know? That idea of returning to a place maybe you hadn't been in a while, but you had to go back because it was a special place for the two. And in that moment, you felt that that angle of that person still being there with you in the moment, even though they aren't really there. But that thought of spirit, what is spirit? The idea of like you said, uh, the tune from away carried by a secret wind, soft and sharp. I should say gentle and defined. And then you get that thought, the tap on the shoulder, a reminder that you're not alone in the moment because they are still there with you, and they're giving you that, tapping you as a way of recognition to, hey, I see you, even though you can't see me. I like that note. Thank you, Blue. All right, Pam, you got to read it.
I'm really glad to see that Blue Leader One was inspired for the contest. I tell you, we may not have gotten a lot of points in this contest, but the ones we have gotten are just top notch quality. I like how this speaks on the idea of the spirits of the land that speak to our soul. I love the imagery of eye gem and fire opal, both contained and dead, alive only in our souls, still dangerous, feeds and lifts us, chases our feelings free, both whispers and screams, riding along our skin to whip our hair. I like the way that speaks on the idea of the power within the wind, the power within the layers of stone, and how nature is the voice of the spirits calling out to us. Um, absolutely an amazing write and very well done.
Nice, thank you, man. There's one more from that contest I had to drop on the back end. Wouldn't let me in.
What's that?
So there's one more from that contest that I had to drop at the bottom of the board because it wouldn't let me post it up top.
Garanwi?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had already added that. What in the world? Sorry, my Kindle Fire screen for some reason was bouncing up and down. All right. Now, putting it in Late Night Poets. And back over to StreamYard. All right. We have Paris Stars by Garanwi. And go ahead, please, Rex.
All right. Paris Stars by Granwy. Come and talk with me in my Paris cemetery. I'll guide you to my bones. You can kiss my joke. No one gets out of here alive. You'll never see my ghost. Oscar's ghost tells mine. At least we're here looking at the stars. Hopefully fires I lit are burning in your dreams. You'll find me in the whiskey bars of Alabama, or singing up storms in Midwest phone booths, laughing at the joke of kisses on the stones, opening doors of realities hidden in my songs and poem. And Ron, we took prompt 8, which was I was there by the fire in the phone booth. All right, Pam, what do you think?
All right. Give me just a moment. I just want to type one last word. And all right. This is an amazing write by Garanwi. So many great uses of in a brevity of the song lyrics and lines, titles. No one here gets out alive. At least we're looking at the stars. Those. And I like that he writes that first line is an invitation to speak to the spirit of Jim Morrison. Come and talk with me in my Paris cemetery. I'll guide you to my bones so you can kiss my joke. And I really like how this speaks on the idea of opening the doors, opening yourself to the spirit of Jim Morrison and all that his poetry, his music represented. And I thought there were some really clever lines, but I did a particularly like, and another great nod to the music. You'll find me in the whiskey bars of Alabama or singing up storms in Midwest phone booths. Phone booths, now there's a sense of nostalgia to it for sure. excellent right and very well done.
Nice. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, I like where Garon we went with this. Now, that note, the Paris Cemetery. Yes, that thought of You Can Kiss My Joke had me thinking of Mr. Mojo Rising, which, if you uh, undo the letters, actually spells out Jim Morrison. No one gets out of here alive. The note to the book. And the thought of Oscar Wilde. He's buried there with Oscar Wilde and Marcel Proust. And we're looking at the stars. I like that note. And then that thought, hopefully fires I lit are burning in your dreams. That idea of, hey, I hope my voice is still resounding. The whiskey bars of Alabama, what was it, uh, the big beat. And singing up storms, riders on the storm. Uh, Laughing at the joke of kisses on the stones. A nice touch, because um, before they fenced that off, uh, his uh, his gravestone got pretty well noted with not just candles and other things, but also it was written on, painted. So, and the opening the doors of realities hidden in my songs was a bite back to both Blake and Aldous Huxley. So you hit quite a bit there, Garonway. Thank you very much.
All right. Give me a moment here. I'm actually going to check some the chat to make sure there's something I haven't missed. Okay. Okay. Well, apparently the echo hasn't stopped. So I am actually, now that I know how to get out of here, I'm going to get out and come back. But I am actually sorry, Rex. I'm going to have to put up a poem for you to read because my poem was next and I want to read that in my voice. And so let's see. I will go ahead and put your poem up. So, all right. There it is in Late Night Poets. And now I'm putting it in the other place. And it is The Weird Creatures by Intimitus Rex. And go ahead, please, Rex, and I will be back.
The weird creatures. I have witnessed that cold calculus within those weird scenes inside the gold mine of your darkness. Vachon, threshing the valley of your soul, those golden sheaves, ripe, blood moon flurries, her vestibule glowing soft in Wednesday's tomb. Galleried minstrels, mandolin marauders, loaded flutes of loveless, climbing vined petrichor. You've laughed with constipated kookaburras, that soundstage of diphtheria congealed behind emerald eyes. Does your tonsillitis effectuate dismemberments, or hast your vital stock magnanimity left you hungry? Gray flannel dreams soft in midnight's long-legged lounge, dancing in wild-haired forests, splashing moonlit arroyos, tiptoeing within cool streams of consciousness. Belly up to beauty, dine on morn's oil, and savor your temple's love ascensions in a summer's rain. Pellucid drops of tongued honey meld, misty samovar of jungled coffee wetting lusty lips. City of love, engulfing Eiffel's steel erection in sen flowering. Brandy, Bonhomie and brass. Neighbors, Oscar and Victor and Marcel. We tarry long into our earthen vest of flamed lacage à fond. Diftor hey, smusma, Tiberius. Khan was that Botany Bay shoreline within your spatial quay. Starry, starry night, you celebrate this war machine, ghetto gleam, death scene, weeping not upon this black hole vendetta carousel. Our plumed purpurea, hearkening that tolling tonic in defecation spread. A Bolshevik basilisk breeds incessant. Lights go up, flicker, flick, flick, can be heard as you realize your movie's over. Turn out the lights. And Paul, I might have forgotten about that one.
Yeah, I'm glad you dug this treasure up here, Rex. Um, I I like how your title makes me think not only of the prompt poem that you had put up in that contest, The New Creatures, but it makes me think of the song People Are Strange. Um, I really love the imagery and metaphors in this. I like how, to me, it speaks on the idea that we need to learn to allow our thoughts to flow, to not become all constipated in our thinking. We got to let go of the bullshit and, find ourselves appreciating the wet lust, desire, and magic of life in all its weirdness. And I thought there was strong lines throughout, but I especially like Gallard minstrels, mandolin marauders, loaded lutes of Lovelace, climbing vine, petrichor. You've larfed with constipated kookaburras, that sound stage of diphtheria, congeal behind emerald eyes. Dost your tonsillitis effectuate dismemberment, or hast your victuals stock magnanimity left you hungry? I always, feel myself like chomping at the bits whenever poetry offers up such intellectual ponderings and asks the reader to think along with it. So, absolutely an amazing write and very well done.
Well,
Oh,
thank
and
you,
look at
Pam.
that. In the first stanza, the first line, you mentioned the cold calculus that's of the Paris journals. So, very cool and very well done, Rex.
Well, whatever you did cleaned up everything.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, no echo, no thrumming, no nothing in the background.
Wow. Well, that's good. Good. Well, I'll remember to do that next time then, if it happens again on another show or again on this show. So, yeah. I have not left you a written comment, Rex, but I will do that. I just don't want to try to, you know, cram it in right now. So I will make sure that's on my to-do list for tomorrow. All right. Do. And let's see here. Okay, gonna grab my poem, put it in Late Night Poets. And over to StreamYard. All right. So this is one that I just wrote today, based on the poem that you read at the beginning of the show, plus based on listening to 36 minutes of Jim Morrison, one of his poetry sessions from February 1969. And so this is Our Emergence from Myths and Monsters. And it goes like this. Beyond acquaintances of the stone alleys where bone and blood meet and hang in the stairwells of crippled shamans, where time flies bold and noisy, a bald-headed condor screeching lullabies to the last faltering breath tossed before coins, a hungry winged beast, horned and horny, licking the labia of the river flowing towards the sage of wormwood. My spirit, the domains of Artemis and Hecate, stares up at the pregnant moon, emerging from mists of living shadows, honey dripping from the horn of the ram. Please take time to understand. I have written this poem for you and only you, whoever you may be, O man of the hairy balls and hard shaft. I see lightning in your eyes. Scream for me in your voice made of humidity and sand pouring upon angels' wings. I dance naked, breasts glowing in the firelight. I dance with my sisters of sexual wisdom. This world is a great weight upon bent shoulders, and it tries to hold us down. And in our anger, we learn, we fly, we soar, we swoop, and we dive. We claw at the land of rodents and worms, rising from the stench of the dead, silent as the night circling beyond the city, neon lights of desert prey, praying for moments of provocation. I am ugly. Be ugly with me, whoever you are. Let us be insanity together. Let us be monsters together. Beneath the crimson flow of fables and flirtations, we will find the torment of understanding together. End poem.
Great read, Pam. And where's Jean in the moment so she can? Ah, wow. Come on, Jeannie, come in for a minute. Oh my God. Well, you did this in a couple of pops. I like that note. You got the crippled shamans up top, and you walk within that arena. The idea of my spirit, the domains of Artemis and Hecate, stares up at the pregnant moon, emerging from midst of living shadows, honey dripping from the horn of the ram. Please take time to understand. And then that thought, I've written this poem for you, and only you. What for you? That comes out of that the parish journal. Then you add in, and only you, whoever you may be, and then you roll into that note of what was it? The Sisters of the Woods. They go out on full moon nights and dance naked round a bonfire. Oh, man of hairy balls and hard shaft, I see the lightning in your eyes. Scream for me in your voice made of humidity, the sand pouring upon angel wings. I dance with my sisters of sexual wisdom. This world is a great weight upon bent shoulders, and it tries to hold us down. And in our anger, we learn, we fly, we soar, we swoop and dive. We claw at the land of rodents and worms, rising from the stench of the dead. You roll into that note. That was an easy roll from the coven of, well, I don't know, coven of white witches dancing naked around a campfire in the full moon glow. That's a hell of an image. And then that thought, I am ugly, be ugly with me. Let us be insanity together. Let's be monsters together. Wow. Yeah, where the hell are you, Gene? Come here and have a comment on this.
She put a big NO in. She put a big NO in chat.
Chicken.
She's like,
Oh,
she's
you
yelling
chicken.
at you. She's like, no. And I don't blame her. She's had a long day. Plus that, she. Oh my gosh, too funny. Too funny. But yeah, that's a great great comment there, Rex. And I want to say thank you so much for the inspiration. Some of that imagery, the dancing around the bonfire with my breasts flopping all about. Actually, I thought of that because just recently there was the celebration of Beltane, which is a festival, a pagan festival in May. And so I just thought of dancing around bonfires and women being free and lively, and energetic in their spiritual sexuality. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
members of the Hellfire Club. Yes,
Yeah,
Ben Franklin would enjoy that.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So that was the last of our contest entries. And the rest of the rights are on topic, but not from the contest. They're Jim Morrison inspired rights. And we will not be getting through all of them. Um, unless you want to go over, but I figure we could use carryovers for
Yeah,
next
that's
week.
fine.
Yeah.
Chicken,
so.
Phil. Where's my chicken emojis? Do I have any? I don't even know.
We
I got
we
skunks
do
and I
have
got
chicken.
bats.
I don't know. Let's see. Let me test something here. I don't know.
Where am I? Here's my animals.
There we go. There's a chicken. There's a little baby chicken.
I got pigs, and camels, and goats. I've even got a woolly mammoth. Little rabbit faces. That's a rooster. I don't have it. Oh, there it is. There you go. I do got
Oh
thick
my
face.
gosh. All right. So, yes, to anybody who does not get read tonight, we are going to be reading you on the beginning of next week's After Midnight. All right. So now I have put up The Crystal Ship by Bookworm Dave 227. And go ahead, please, Rex, and give that a read.
Nice, Em. The dancing chicken.
That's great.
There it is. The Crystal Ship by Bookworm Dave 227. Quartz hull, no sails, oars will move us towards the north, guided by Polaris. Gentle seas, calm ocean, still like glass. No thought of danger, soft dipping sounds of the oars, cadence of dip, dip, and swing are heard. Each rower moving ever closer, destinations unknown, moonlit shadows of the night. Wise passengers slept. Rowers worked in teams, while some slept, others worked. Moving on the seas, calm and surreal, men and women watching the dolphins. Jumping over the bow, delighting the children, let them play, the captain shouts. Another day, another voyage. And poem.
Yeah, this is a wonderful write inspired by the song The Crystal Ship by The Doors. Amazing imagery, thoughtful lines. I like how it speaks to me on the idea of the journeys of life and going through the storms, and how in those moments people can be on the same ship and in the same storm, and some are enjoying the view and some are trying to hide from that storm. And I like especially where it says wise passengers slept, rowers worked in teams, while some slept, others worked, moving on the seas, calm and surreal, men and women watching the dolphins. Like, it also, well, the nice thing about this poem is that it's layered in such a way to me that it works both literally and metaphorically. So wonderful write by Bookworm Dave, and very well done.
Nice. All right. There's two things in here that's really had me going down a different different road. Quartz hull and still like glass. And that fact on the back end, um, delighting the children, let them play, the captain shouts. I'm going to go with this is a ship in a bottle. And you've got the imagination of a child walking through this angle. Polaris, the thought of the calm ocean, dead of seas, no thought of danger, the soft dipping sounds of the oars, cadence of dip, dip, swing and hurt. That idea of the child imagining the motion in the moment, what's going on, seeing the rower, uh, uh, the shadows of the night, the thought of passengers should be asleep at night. The rowers working in teams while some slept, others worked. You get that night of camaraderie and the idea of understanding and that thought of another day, another voyage. Well, I can come back and do this again with this very same ship in a bottle and dream up another idea to what ocean I will be sailing this day, or at least using the oars to propel us through but the oars, I think, might be just the idea of the mind itself.
I really like that observation there. Just a wonderful observation, the idea of it being a ship in a bottle. That's really cool.
All right.
All right. And I will go grab another poem. Let me go ahead and do that. All right. So, first in Late Night Poets, and then in StreamYard. We have Morrison. Oh, hold on. That's not the title. Let me try this again. It is I Met Morrison on a Plane in the Desert by Eden Bray. And it goes like this. Actually, I'm sorry, Rex. Can I have you read this one, please? I think it would be better in your voice.
All right. I met Jim Morrison on a plane in the desert by Eden Bray. I saw Haktai Hopium on the way to Jerusalem, the center of the earth and destiny, next to Haiku Spectrum where angels meet. Morrison was a shaman, a young man of wisdom. He rolled it all away. I met Ruby Tuesday on the way down where the oaks and orcs and golems play, not at the center of the earth, not very possible. It is too hot there for us to stay. And Gorbachev, he dies. Wipe hard on your eyes, a sky of Russian spies and shooting stars, a line to meet without disguise at Orion's circle. Point with your Kaluga pistol to no collusion. Oh, oh, humanity's solutions, dressed in khaki browns, the color of our shit and waste, our vile pollution. Where be ye, the voices cry John, the best man dressed up in bulletproofs, day-glow vest? I met Baladan the brave wolfmaster, the honest poet's contrivance, create the ideology, the dance of the Sphinx, the dream of Gerontius and Mother Mary as I walked by one summer evening sullied. And poem.
Great read there, Rex. Man, this is just really a captivating and powerful write. I knew it wasn't specifically Jim Morrison inspired, and really he was only mentioned in the title, but there was something about it. Well, I mean, he's not just with the title, he is mentioned in the first stanza with, the center of the earth and destiny next to Haiku Spectrum where angels meet. Morrison was a shaman, a young man of wisdom. He rolled it all away. So, but I felt like there was something about this poem that really fit well with the energy for tonight's show. Um, I thought this had amazing imagery and metaphors, very clever wordplay, and you did a great read of this, Rex. I like how this speaks on the idea of the often downtrodden journey that connects us with creative spirits of the past. It kind of makes me think of that, what you were talking about earlier about the connection between all those different creative people who were just in this new place, in this new time, and going through the process of learning. And so many great cultural references. And I where it says, oh, humanity's solutions dressed in khaki browns, the color of our shit and waste, our vile pollution. Where be you, the voices? Cried John, the best man, dressed up in bulletproof day glow vest. The idea of, violence, so sadly, violence being humanity's answer when so many voices of song and poetry, like John Lennon, have cried out for peace and understanding with each other. So excellent, right, and very well done.
Nice, thank you, Pam. Um, I do like to play on the spelling. That was different. And that second stanza. I met Ruby Tuesday on the way down, down where the oaks and orcs and golems play, not at the center of the earth, not very possible. It is too hot there for us to stay. Ooh, so you got a little bit of you got orcs and golems, so you got a little bit of what's his name rolled into this as well, and that sort of Gorbachev dying, that sort of perestroika uh, during what was that in the 80s, opening up fresh eyes, fresh voice, fresh opening up the idea to uh, being honest and truthful, so to speak, in the moment. Um, I finished too. I met Baladin, the brave wolf master, the honest poet's contrivance, create the ideology, the dance of the Sphinx, the dream of Gerontius and Mother Mary as I walked by one summer evening sullied. Oh, the dance of the Sphinx. I think part of that walks in that note of the creation stories, making up because we don't really know on certain things. So it's easier to create something and sell it off as what it is because we don't have an idea of the reality of it, which does walk a nice tone. And you got the center of the earth that kind of walks right into the sort of um, damn it, Gollum and the Lord of the Rings. That's what I couldn't think of. Nice. And that Morrison was a shaman, a young man of wisdom. He rolled it all the way. Kind of walks that kind of walks a note of offering up um, of a thought to Christ in that moment, especially with because he does Jerusalem, the center of the earth, and destiny. Kind of a Jerusalem being the belly of all things when it comes to religious angles, because all religion came out of, or at least Western and Eastern religion, all walks out of Jerusalem. Both, all three. Uh, you've got a you got the Catholic or Christian religion, then you've got um, Judaic, and you've got the Muslim angle that walks all out of Jerusalem. So I'll have to read this a couple of times.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Great comment there, Rex. All right, I actually put up a very much a brevity that we can end the show on, and it is My imaginary Jim Morrison quotes, but number 4 by John Nakapalo. The cosmic tide of time, and we are all in pools that we swear are oceans. End poem.
Great repair. Well, it's short and sweet.
Yeah.
I can get into this because it kind of hits on that notion of we're all in pools that we swear are oceans. That idea of not wanting to be the small fish in a pool, but wanting to be the large fish in the ocean. Why? Because if you're a large fish in the ocean, then you're the predator instead of being that just another one in the pool. Because at that point you're just like everybody else. But if you're an entity in the ocean, you can offer yourself up as, "Ah, I'm the predator in the moment that you have to be aware of." All right, what do you think?
I thought this was a wonderful brevity. I like the idea of an imaginary quote, Jim Morrison quotes. The idea of putting yourself in that place of what would Jim Morrison say? And I like what you had to say because oftentimes people think they're a big fish, but they're just so oftentimes a big fish in a small pond, so they don't see the reality of it. I thought these were wonderful words to nibble upon, and it was an excellent write that spoke to me on how often we pass time not seeing the big picture. So wonderful lines written by John Nakapolo, and very well done. And great show tonight, Rex.
Yes, thank you. And Gingini in the background refusing to comment and come on board with a big no.
Oh, but she's done so much this week. Oh my goodness gracious, right? Thank you, Jean.
All
And
right.
what's that?
We'll roll the leftovers into next week. Rollovers into next Tuesday, and we'll see you all again then. And
Sounds.
have a great week, people, and thank you very much.
And don't forget to write for Twisted Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Have a good night, everyone.